Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just the Arrowverse and DC TV as a whole because some really surprising news came out today. It's something that I thought like the boat had officially sailed away and we're never going to be able to board it just because we are in like season 8 of The Flash and just, the Arrowverse has been around for almost 10 years. But this is finally happening, and I'm like, okay, well, better late than never, and they're doing it in a really cool way. So, of course, we've been without an Arrowverse crossover for, well, pretty much exactly 2 years now. Like, Crisis, the final parts of Crisis on Infinite Earths aired over 2 years ago now, and we haven't had an actual crossover since, unless you include, like, Diggle's guest appearances last season, which really wasn't really a crossover, because it's just one character showing up, and he'd showed up on other shows before, outside of crossovers. So we were hoping that maybe the end of this year we'd get one as well, which could still easily be the case, and I'd be surprised if it isn't the case. But we're going to be getting an Arrowverse crossover within about three months from now, and it's going to be spread over 3 months, with us getting two parts of it each month over those 3 months. And you might be like, what the hell are you talking about? That's a really long crossover. Well, that's because it's actually not on TV. So DC Comics released today that Earth Prime, so that's the name of the series, Earth Prime, will be bringing DC's television superheroes to comics for the first time in canon for an epic in-universe crossover. And actually, in regards to first time, I added that. We did have Crisis on Infinite Earths, and they did like a comic thing, but it wasn't its own unique thing. Like it was just tied into the TV event. They did some stuff that like happened, off screen that was mentioned on the show, but we didn't actually get to see it play out. So that was technically the first in canon one, but it wasn't its own like unique thing, while this will be for the most part. So I'm just going to read out the article and I will explain certain things going forward, but yeah, let's just jump into it. So the creative minds behind the CW's hottest DC superhero shows are bringing their talents and the characters they've made so popular to comic books in a can't-miss comic book event. Earth Prime is a 3-month, 6-issue event set entirely in the universe of DC's popular superhero TV shows. All issues are part of the Warner Brothers television show canon, approved by CW television show producers. So everything that happens in these comics is relevant. It's canon. It's relevant to the timeline. It happened, when you watch an episode after, or even depending on where these comics take place in the timeline, it's relevant to what's happening in that story as well. So this is pretty big, and it makes me wonder if they're doing this for a bit of ease going forward into some stuff, into some other stuff. But we'll talk about that after. But I was really surprised when I saw that it was actually canon and it's actually been approved by the people that run the shows. So that really caught me off guard, but got me excited at the same time. Now, each of the first 5 issues spotlights a different CW/DC superhero show, with the 6th and final issue serving as a crossover finale. Now, you might be wondering, okay, that's cool, but it's big for one big reason, which we'll talk about when we get to this, certain thing. So issue 1, this is the first one that's come out, is going to be focusing on Batwoman. So that's the first one that comes out. Now, I'm assuming that they're doing this because that's what makes sense to the story, that you start with this certain character and this certain show, I guess, and then the next show as well. But yeah, they give actually a detail on who's writing it, as well as an actual synopsis for the comic, which I think is actually really cool, because I wasn't too sure if they'd actually give us details on what's happening in each one, but they do. So Earth Prime #1, focusing on the CW's Batwoman, Ryan Walder, sorry, aka Batwoman, makes her costumed comic book debut because she was in a comic book but not as Batwoman yet. In a story co-written by series writers Natalie Abrams and Kelly Larson, plus series cast member Cameron Johnson, who plays Luke Fox or Batwing, with art by Clayton Henry. And you can see on screen right now, that's like a preview image of it, and it looks pretty cool. And this is the actual like synopsis or description for the comic. Ever since the tech that created many of Batman's rogues hit the streets, Ryan Walder has been running herself ragged, trying to contain the new villains popping up around Gotham City. But when Clayfaces, making his CW debut, I can't speak. When Clayface's mud binds itself to a local high schooler, Batwoman will need help from an unexpected source to contain this muddy foe. Also, follow how Luke Fox balances his life as a superhero and a boyfriend. So, of course, you're getting Clayface there, which is pretty cool. I'm interested to see, what they do with him there. And the issue #2, or Earth Prime #2, will be focusing on the CW's Superman and Lois. Now, Superman and Lois series writers Adam Malinger, Jai Jameson and Andrew Wong joined DC fan favorite artists Tom Grummett and Norm Rapmund in a story spotlighting Clark Kent and Lois Lane's first anniversary. Trying to celebrate their marital bliss is never easy when you're a superhero husband and news reporter wife, especially when world saving and creating hard hitting stories continues to spoil your plan. Plus, here's the big thing, the true origins of the evil Superman from John Henry Irons' world are finally revealed. So that's a big thing that we've been wanting to see as well. Now, it was always going to be difficult because when you do like like a flashback or like origin story, you usually do it from the perspective of that character. Like they're sort of like thinking about it or they're telling it themselves. But when on that Earth with that evil Superman, and he just seems to be like a bit of a just mutant soldier pretty much as well. So the comic is actually going to dive into that. And that's been something that I've wanted to see because we've only seen that character from John Henry Irons' perspective. So yeah, I'm interested to see that. Now, both of these issues, the Batwoman and Superman and Lois issue, will feature cover art by Jim Jacinto and will feature photo variant covers based on each individual show. So I'd assume that means it's a picture of the actual actors that played the characters. So the Batwoman one will have the live action Ryan Wilder or Batwoman played by Javicia Leslie there, and the same for Superman and Lois with Tyler Hoechlin and Bitsy Tulloch. But they might do like a new shoot. I'm not too sure exactly what it looked like. They don't give us a look at that, but I'd assume that's what it is. But here we go. Subsequent issues will spotlight the CW television series DC's Legend of Tomorrow, DC's Stargirl, and The Flash, all written or co-written by creative talent from the shows, and each issue will also include bonus material created by cast members of the CW shows. But here's the big thing, as well as teasers that will provide clues to the nature of the final crossover in issue number 6. Now, I'm interested to see what this final crossover issue is because the comic issue isn't extremely long unless they make it long, they make it a bit extended. So I'd assume that they're gonna have to do not a lot of build up, but some build up in these lead up comics, which is where we have these teasers that will provide clues. But the final crossover could be something small where it just unites everyone together for the first time. Now, the big thing with this that's interesting or intriguing me is the fact that it is called Earth Prime. And they could have easily just called it Arrowverse or even CWverse, number 1, number 2, whatever they wanted to do. But they're going out of the way to call it Earth Prime. Now, I guess the big thing here is this like officially going to connect Stargirl with the other shows. I've seen people saying it's going to fold their Earth into ours. I don't think that wouldn't make sense. I don't know how you could do that. However, I don't think it's too much of a surprise that the Flash is if we're just going off this, that like you have Batwoman is number 1, Superman and Lois is number 2, and then you have issue numbers 3, 4, and 5 is how it's presented here. So Legends is number 3, Stargirl is number 4, and Flash is number 5. I would assume that that's how Stargirl crosses over. The Flash connects it all in their 5th episode and brings Stargirl into this final 6th issue. And because it's canon, they're introducing, I guess, the Flash rediscovering the multiverse. Now, we don't know if that's going to happen on the show before this issue airs. So these start coming out on early April. So that means the Flash issue probably won't come out till early June. So it should become like the first week of June, with the final issue coming out in the middle of June or, back half of June as well. So the Flash will almost be done airing this season before that issue airs. So we could see him rediscover the multiverse before this issue happens, because how are you going to cross over Stargirl and have her involved in this crossover? Because we know she exists on Earth too. So that's a thing that this comic event has to do as well. But if they can well advertise this and even mention it in the shows as well that these took place, then they don't have to do it in another crossover. They can just say, I'm just going to go whip over and get Stargirl. Or maybe Stargirl will have access to cross the multiverse or whatever it might be. So I'm excited to see how they do this. And I will probably do videos on it. I'll try and get the comics as soon as they come out and read them and break them down and explain what happens. Because I know people either just don't like reading comics specifically, or they just can't afford to buy them, which is completely fine, because knowing this, they'll probably chuck a bit of a added price tag on it just because it's a special event. They'll probably make it like an extra $1 or $2 more for each issue or something like that, because that's what they do. So I'll do it and I'll do the videos on it. I'm sure people would like that, because then you don't have to spend money or waste your time reading. I say waste your time reading, just I guess that means if you don't like it. But yeah, I'm interested to see what they do and what the other issues are focusing on, especially Legends, because Legends has been so disconnected from anything comic book based. But they might, I guess, if it's written by the people that make the show, then they'll make it truly Legends style, but in a comic. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully, you enjoyed the video. If you did and you're looking forward to this one, drop a like on the video to show your support and excitement. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on this, and would you like me to break down the issues for you and explain the story like I would with other stuff from other shows that you don't watch, you just might want to know a specific thing? Let me know all that in the comments, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.